Hey guys, today I'm going to provide you with a quick fishing report, a Wahoo fishing tip, and I'm going to tell you guys what we're doing in the Good Karma Fishing Club this week. So let's get into it right away. Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Okay, the fishing. I've been doing nothing but mutton snapper fishing, really. It's been pretty good, I would say, for this time of year. Better than what I've seen over the past couple years, actually, for this time of year. Now, one thing I tell people is like uh, the fish are always on the bite, okay? They just don't shut off, meaning that just because your spot's been working well for the past 2 weeks and you go there and it's not working on the full moon, doesn't mean that they're shut off on because of the full moon. Okay, the fish swim. Okay, and what happens is this time of year is that you have a lot of eddies move through the keys, a lot of different like currents that come through, and what happens because it happens every August, and last year it happened in July. So you'll get a lot of screaming current, and you'll get a lot of different swirling eddies that'll come in. It kind of messes up the water a little bit. Hell, I was in one zone fishing, and the next thing you know, I've got a current moving to the south, and then I went in like another I would say not even a half mile, and it was gone. So meaning that I just moved away from it and moved out of it, and I'm in some calmer water with very light current. So this happens a lot this time of year. The water is very unstable because of the heat. You get a lot of eddies that move through the keys. And also too, inside the reef, you've got a little bit of algae bloom going on. Happens every year when the water gets hot. So when these eddies come really close to the keys and they swirl counterclockwise, they pull that green water out. So out beyond the reef, and you'll get some patches of some off-color water, and then you also have the very strong outgoing tides that'll bring it out in certain areas of the keys, and then sometimes that water will those eddies will stay there for a good number of days, 3 to 4. So now, with that being said, you also have eddies that'll be in there that'll bring in some really nice water. They'll stabilize for 2 to 3 days, and boom, good fishing. So that's something that we go over in the courses that I talk about. I show the guys what to look for and all that good stuff, especially when it comes time for wahoo fishing. So as far as the dolphin fishing goes, this is the time of year where you're going to catch some big dolphin. Okay. The dolphin migration has shifted a little bit as far as those big fish go, and there are some big fish being caught. The closer we get to this new moon, like this coming week, about midweek, might be a good time to go out there and start looking for some big dolphin. Okay. The big dolphin are going to be on birds. Now, it's not going to be like a bunch of birds. You're going to look for like 1 to 2 to 3 birds. Okay. Now, also too, if you find a sea turtle, you're in really good luck. The trick is with the turtles is that you want to make sure that you get way up current of that turtle, okay? And then you go slow, you just drift right, you try to get lined up with him, and you basically put that engine in neutral, okay? And you don't want to scare him down, and you just want to kind of get lined up with and try to figure out how he's swimming, and then you kind of want to just drift up behind him. Has he swimming, has he swimming with the Gulf Stream? And you just want to get up current and you want to slide down with him, okay? So if you run up on them really quick, you're going to push all those fish down with that turtle, and you're going to be screwed, man. So that's the trick. Okay. So you don't want to race into him. You want to get up, get up ahead of him or get behind him and then drift with that current. Okay. So if he's sitting right here, you want to get behind him and you want to come in behind him really slow. So sometimes if you have a Gulf Stream current moving at like, say 4 miles an hour, 3.5 miles an hour, you can just use your engines to bump and gear, and you're going to slowly slide into that fish. And it's going to be very natural. Then you have your baits and your outriggers, and then and you can have your guys in the front looking to sight fish the dolphin. That's the absolute best way, because when you come up and start doing loops on that turtle, you're pushing that turtle down. Okay, so if that sea turtle is swimming to the north with the current, so you just basically just figure out, try to get the speed at which he's swimming, and then you want to kind of, get off to the side of him a little bit, get behind him, and then keep the engines bumping in and out, and try to get that Gulf Stream to push you so you can come up right behind him there, and then get on top of close to him without disturbing him, and then have your guys ready with poppers and pilchards and all that stuff to look for those big dolphin that are with him. The biggest ones we've caught this year have been off sea turtles that way. So that's a little trick for you guys. Again, if you're racing up on that fish, racing up on 3 birds, and they're circling, you can tell which fish have turtles on them, which fish don't. So that's something. Or you're going to get a sea turtle that's just going to cooperate with you all day and want to be petted. Don't pet them. So, and I've had a couple of those days this year where it's been phenomenal. So where the turtle just stayed up on the top, and we just enjoy some great fishing, and don't disturb the sea turtle. Okay. So it's just part of the natural part of fishing out there. You have debris, you have sea turtles, and those turtles come all the way out of the turtle migration is crazy how it works. So that's another thing. When you learn about the turtle migrations and when that stuff happens, those fish swim all the way up the from areas that down in by Cancun and those areas, and with that, as they're swimming the Gulf Stream, they bring with them the dolphin. Okay, they're swimming to where they need to migrate, and then as they return, and out of the Gulf or wherever they go, you can Google, and you can just Google turtle migrations, and you kind of figure it out, which is a lot of fun. So as far as the what else to look forward to, like I said, you're going to have some really good dolphin fishing here over the next 3 to 4 weeks into the fall. So like I said, now is the time to really start focusing on that. But it's fun to fish for dolphin, but my favorite thing to do is fish for the tunas and fish for the wahoos, and we're going to see some really good tuna fishing here coming up. Okay, on the next full moon, probably going to see some amazing tuna fishing, so which we typically do. So the new moon is going to bring in some nice big tunas. We've had years where they've been inshore close to the reef, and then we've had years where they've just stayed out in the deeper water, depending on what the currents and the water's doing and the bait. So just something to keep in mind when you're coming down, to be ready to target those big blackfin tunas. The deep drop stuff, right now is the time to go out and get your queen snappers. They are biting. Marathon hump, west hump. You've got some lesser known areas out there that hold the queens as well. Islamorada hump, good spot to try for the queens. And if you want to get dialed in a little bit more and you're not having such good luck and you're trying, then you can just book a personal session with me as well. So then I'll give you some insights on where to go and all that other good stuff to catch them. Okay. So we've got that happening. Again, all your deep drop species, closures, you got your closures going on. Vermilion snappers, I've been catching a few big vermilion snappers. I haven't really targeted them this year as like I've done in the past. I've been mostly it's been only mutton snappers on my past few trips. But our bycatch has been like some 20-inch vermilion snappers, 18 inches, 19 to 20-inch vermilions. So which is pretty cool. But you're going to have the beautiful yellow eye snappers are going to bite here within, right now they're biting. So that's a good thing to go target. Key Largo area, great area to go target those. So the Key Largo hump area, well known for catching big yellow eye snappers. Okay, so with that being said, I'm trying to think of a couple other things for you. Oh, the other day I'll just share a little thing. This was a couple days ago. We were out on Friday and we were mutton snapper fishing. I've been fishing some public numbers, and that's something that I'm going to share and I'm going to share some information with the guys in the Good Karma rigging crew. A couple little techniques that I'm using that's changed up to get some pressured fish, and it's very cool to see it's all about the micro tweaks. Okay. All about the micro tweaks to make yourself better. Okay. And listen, things are changing out there, and if you want to catch fish consistently, then I would highly suggest that you get involved with the rigging crew, and it's it's something special. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so you're going to have some the fishing's changing a little bit out there. So you're going to have the groupers are going to start moving back in, and they're already in there. They're already there. The sharks are there as well. So, but oh boy, the sharks. I got something I might share with you guys in a couple weeks about the sharks. So I've learned I've got something I'm working on, and we'll see how it goes here if things pan out. Maybe I'll share it with you. So something to look forward to. Anyhow, now before I get into the Wahoo tip, I was pulling up stuff for the do the podcast, and as I was pulling it up, I got an advertisement in my in my feed, and it was for like a I would say an app or something like that that gets you dialed in on predicting where to fish in your area and all that stuff. And I see that a lot as far as AI stuff goes. And uh, listen, I'm all about like selling stuff, okay? But that's buying something, it's more, in other words, like I'm all about like capitalism, making money, selling stuff, and that's the way that the world works. That's the way that America works. So but thinking one thing is the magic answer is not the magic answer. The magic is all the things consistently over time, and that's what you learn in my courses, okay? That's what you learn. That's what I'm like so happy. I've seen the guys that are in the rigging crew now that they're building the sea witches so as well, and they're sending me some photos of the stuff that they're getting all their supplies ready. They're getting all the special hooks that they need. They're getting all their Wahoo stuff done ahead of time because stuff's like the specialty stuff sells out and then it's not available during Wahoo season. So I'm helping them get ready. Okay. And then they're showing me what they're making. They're getting all their sea witches done, ordered some of these sea witches that they're learning that I've like some of the stuff that I'm sharing is stuff that they have to make. Okay, so they've already making them. So I have a Wahoo tip a free tip that's going to be in the freebie that you can, sign up and you'll probably want to sign up for it. And it's in the link is in the show notes. Okay, so you can go down and get signed up, and then you can get signed up you can get the Wahoo freebie. So listen, it's like I said, it's all things consistently over time. And you can go out and you can hunt bait schools and you can do all this stuff, but when the bait isn't there, what are you going to do? So, and then you got a full moon and you're like a hero on the full moon, but are you catching them on like zero tide, like on the days when there's like when it's not supposed to be good? Are you even going? Or are you just waiting to fish amongst the masses and then go and catch a snake wahoo and like when the small ones are around? There's periods where these big fish are here and there's nobody here because they're moon fishermen. They only go when the other guy's catching or they see these fishing reports. So what I'm teaching the guys in the courses is it's not how it works. So I'm sharing some secrets as to what they can do to get bit. Okay. And one thing that I did share in this recent one, and I'm going to share with you guys, is for the guys that are slow speed trolling, planer fishing. Okay, there is going to come a time where you are not going to get a bite, but the high speed guys are going to get a bite. Why? Because there's no bait. Okay. And you have packs of wahoos. So when you have competitive, it's called competitive feeding. Okay. They are fighting to eat. So they are tuned in to high speed fishing. Okay. Early in the season, planers are awesome. They're great. But what happens is what happens when things change and you're not getting bit. And the high speed guys know that it's their time, it's their opportunity to get bit. So you need to create a competitive feeding like frenzy around your boat. And how do you do that? A couple different things you can do. You can do my favorite thing to do is drag a big dredge teaser behind the boat and a big flash teaser strike. They're all over the internet now. A holographic teaser. That's my favorite thing to do. Or I've got a homemade daisy chain that I use, a big old pink chain, and I'll stick that out. You have to create a competitive like feeding frenzy for your boat, meaning that you got to get a bunch of shit in the water that's going to attract them. Okay. And so also too, um, that's the secret to spear diving. Okay. All they do, guys, is that they get up to the front of the boat and they drop these big dredges in the water and they sit there and they jig them. They jig them. That's what they do. I've seen it enough to know what's going on. So I'm going to share that with you guys. So that's what's happening. So what happens is when those fish get tuned in to those big balls of bait, that holographic, that's what they're looking for. That's what they're hunting. And they can get all the schools in there and they'll disappear, like they can't see them, but they're sitting outside waiting. Okay. They're shadowing the bait and then they'll come out of nowhere. You get a big pack of them. So, and also too, they're chumming now. A lot of chum. They're using a lot of live pilchers now, creating feeding frenzies for these wahoos. They're chunking. They're doing all this stuff that I've like, so they're doing a lot more than what they used to, okay, to bring fish in, okay? So those are the things you have to think about. And when you see the spear divers in that area, get out to the outside of them and put the same shit into the water, okay? Get 300 feet away from them and you can pull those fish off those divers with no problem, okay? So I am not a fan of spear diving for Wahoo. Sorry, I am not. I've seen like some different stuff happen out there, and I've had some bad experiences recently with new spear divers. So I would like, I'm just going to share some stuff with you guys so you guys can be more competitive out there and catch fish with the rod and the reel. So like I said, I all for like going out there and having a good time, but when there's over aggressiveness and you're doing stuff unsafe, that's when I'm like, well, what the fuck? So okay, that's enough with that. Okay, what am I sharing in the fishing club this week? So one of the guys asked me to go out and make a rig, or one of the guys asked me to make a rig, and I said, well, I'll make the rig, but I really want to show you how it works. Okay. What I'm going to do in this week's rigging cruise, I'm going to go over the rig and then I'm going to talk about some stuff that goes with it. So if you really want to know what's happening and want to really like get that magic, man, like don't sit and like say, oh man, I'm not doing this stuff. What do I need to do? You can take the next step and you can get better. Okay. So that's what the guys are doing in the rigging club. It's $25 a month. And with that, we go over a lot of different stuff. I've gone over a couple things I've got in there. We've got the hybrid squid, a squid that you can actually troll that won't fall apart. So I'm done buying pre-made squids. They don't last. They fall apart. I want to troll something for a while. So I created something that is very durable. It's not what you think it is. So anyhow, so I made that available for the guys and the crew. I showed them how to do it. And I've also showed them how to make a professional sea witch. So to tie a little differently and make things a lot easier to tie some beautiful sea witches. And the results I'm seeing that the guy Fred sent me his, awesome job, Fred. Alan sent me one of his. It's really cool to see these guys doing the work. Okay, because while you're sitting there tying, you're like really thinking about how to be more like just how to be a better angler. And there is nothing more rewarding than catching a big wahoo on a rig that you made. Okay. The last big 55 pounder that I caught came off a rig that I tied and I created. Okay. It was not a store-bought and it was like, well, the wahoo, it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, if you want to be better in your life, or in fishing, create something of your own, challenge yourself to get better. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that's the only way you're going to learn. And don't and go out there and do it. Who cares? Okay, who cares? So you might fuck up. That's the only way you're going to learn. So, and don't be afraid to do it. So that's my Captain Ryan tip for you. The only way you're gonna learn is to mess things up. And so that's how it goes. But anyhow, get involved with some of the things that we got going on. And as far as booking a trip with me this fall, book early for Wahoo. And what we're doing we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to do some new live baiting for Wahoos this season. I've got some new techniques that I've added that I've been wanting to do, but now I have the ability to do them with some pieces of equipment some new pieces of equipment that I have. And we're going to be doing more combo trips. We're doing groupers. We're doing Wahoo, all that other good stuff. So all the fan favorites, and yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can follow me on Instagram, Good Karma Sport Fishing _FL_keys. We've got the Good Karma rigging crew. Again, that meeting is this Thursday. We've got it's going to be live. So if you want to join, the link is going to be in the show notes. Get involved. There's no commitment either. There's no commitment. You can sign up for one crew session. If you don't like it, then that's it. So, but if you want to see what it's all about, you can sign up for this Thursday. We're going to be live. And then we've got the Wahoo courses going on right now. We're doing the specialty hooks this week that I'm using that I have not shared for some other rigs that I'm using. So that I have not shared as well. So we just finished what I call the spread. And like I said, I shared that tip that I just shared with you guys about competitive feeding. And then we've got some other ones coming up. I've got the migration. I've got the how to utilize your satfish combined with your Seymour and your Navionics. And I've got some other ones that are coming up that and the on the water ones as well. So I will be doing on the water as well, utilizing the downriggers, showing the downrigger, how I run it, some planer stuff, some other tricks that I do as far as setting and some timing and just some other stuff. So it'll be a couple on the water days as well. So that's it. If you want to get signed up, the link will be in the show notes. And that's all I got. Thank you guys for tuning in. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.